Alright guys, so I just wanted to give you an update on that Kicker L512. I've been working on it in between other subwoofer builds for this guy that's more local to me. And I showed you guys how to get the surround off in a video, just heat it up a little bit and just start lifting it up. That you can do the same thing with the spider. And I went ahead and cleaned the spider landing up once I got it tore down. And then the actual, where the surround meets, I just sanded it with some 80 grit, just roughed it up. And then on the back of the surround as well, even though it's rubber, I took a little bit of 80 grit and just scuffed it up all the way around. Like, I recommend doing that once you get all the residual glue and stuff off of it, just to help the rubberized glue, like E6000 shoe glue, things like that. It just bites into the surround a little bit better to the frame. So once I got the cone off, what I used, I tried methyl hydrate. I've seen another person do it, Mr. M. The guy that owns this showed me that before. I actually even picked the subwoofer up to get the dust cap off. I ordered some. I tried it. I messed with it for about 3 hours and I just gave up. It didn't budge the dust cap. So what I did was I just used nitromethane. And this is a needle tip. Like, what I did was I just put it, around the dust cap on the top, let it soak down in, like wipe the excess off. After about 5 minutes, I went around it again and wiped off the excess and just let it soak in. And then I flipped the cone upside down since I had the coil out, and I put some on the inside of the dust cap and let it sit for about 10 minutes. And then just stuck my finger up from the bottom and started working around the edge, and it started coming loose. So I just took a hair dryer to speed it up. You don't want to use a heat gun if you've never done that before. You can warp that plastic, like the copolymers and all that stuff. So I just put a little bit of heat with a hair dryer and it just popped right out. And as you can see, it came out clean. All I need to do is go around and sand the back of it before I put it back on. Now I've got the coil shimmed. Now this is a aluminum former coil. It's a round copper wire. It's the same dimensions as far as the wind height, the inner and outer diameter as a stock coil. It is a black high temp coil. It's 4 layers. So it's a lot better coil than what came in its stock. It will run a lot, as far as thermal wise, like, it'll run a lot cooler versus, with the aluminum versus Kapton. The adhesive that holds the wire to the former is a lot better. It's a lot higher heat resistant adhesive. So all in all, it's better. That is a dual layer spider versus like the single layer that came in it. So that will stiffen it up just a bit. So the power handling should be increased on this, just a little bit. Now, these are floating leads, right? The original ones, they come out of the cone and then they solder here. They're floating leads. And what I did was just cut the old off. I didn't want to reuse any of that. The original lead wire, excuse me, my allergies are bothering me. The original lead wire where it comes out of the cone and to here is insulated. So I'm using insulated lead wire that's a little bit bigger. It's a round lead wire. And as you can see, you just clip the end and it exposes the wire itself. What it does, and I've got them soldered to all 4 push terminals and then like heat shrink over them. And what they do is they go up through the cone just like this. They're floating leads and you want them to curve up. So this is a negative and that's a positive over there. And what I do is I turn the coil. You can have the coil centered where like the negative and positive is here, but I turn them because the holes in the cone, like the negative would be like right here and the positive would be over in here, more in the center, right on all of them. But you want that lead wire to curve up because it's a floating lead. So that's why I bias the coil. Like I just, I spin it, you don't have to again, but I do. And I've got the coil and spider assembly already glued together, and then I have it shimmed. And I've got it lifted up because I'm about to put my glue down and then set it in place and then put, clamps where I can get them in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll show you guys that on the next video.